It's 12 minutes past 12, alive 90.5 Business Insights with Murray and Darren.
And thank you to all listeners for joining us in studio live. You can join us on the Facebook page, Business Insights with Murray and Darren. Thanks for Darren. We have the live streaming from the studio every Friday between 12 to 2 p.m. Thanks to Darren. You can come on our website alive905.com.au. The guy is just a wizard on technology. You can join us in listening to this interview, which is going to be converted into the podcast later on today after 6 p.m., 7 p.m. on alive905.com.au. And I'd like to welcome everybody who is joining us in Australia, worldwide. 2.8 million listeners this very moment. And I'd like to say thank you to all sponsors of Alive 90.5. Without you, this great radio station would not be the station. Darren, let's go rock and roll with our guest today.
I'm excited.
Look, he was with us, as we know to all listeners. His name is Dr. Joe Isaak. Dr. Joe Isaak is a psychologist, and he has this little bit more, how would I put this one, spicy and the mysterious background, because he's come from the Middle East, and he's in Australia for past 20 years, but he's very determined to share with us some secrets. I'd like to ask everybody who has questions, please join us in studio. You can ask the questions. Darren, what's the number again, please?
0480-028-100.
Yeah, so please, if you have any questions for Dr. Joe Isaak, join us in studio. Darren, it's going to check the questions, and, you're going to get the answers. So, who is Dr. Joe Isaak? Dr. Joe Isaak, a part of being great friend of Darren and Mario, is the National Training Assessment Lead at the Australian Industry Group, admired YouTuber and global presenter at several international institutes. However, not just a YouTuber, he is as well TikTok king. He's a TikTok king. Darren and I don't use it. This is for the young people. We belong to generation older ones.
Hey, maybe we can get TikTok lessons this morning.
Yes, that's for
I'm
sure.
lost today.
That's for sure. So, Dr. Joe Isaak, welcome to the studio again.
Thank you.
I know you with us before once,
Yes.
and it was very short. And unfortunately, Darren and I organizing now the much more better streamed. The guests in studio give them more time.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Joe Isaak, for all our listeners, do you mind just to share with them, those who doesn't know you, who is Dr. Joe Isaak?
Look, I'm not really a big fan of talking about myself. All my audience will know this, but I'll be very brief and short. I have a passion for helping people develop and bust through their obstacles. I want to see people on a different level than they were yesterday. And this is what I'm really, really inspired by, is always to get people to bust through that barrier that they've always lived with. This is plus the struggles I've had before, what I have faced before. I put all that together with the psychology practical tips and get people moving, hands-on techniques they actually can get to change. This is what I'm really passionate about. In terms of who I am and where I come from, this is readily available on Google. I am from an Egyptian background, and I have been in Australia for quite some time. And I have worked with several departments, and I currently work with Government New South Wales. I'm still employed by them, and I'm on social media because I'm passionate about helping the people actually move in the direction and pursue their dreams without really rubbish talk and all this gimmick stuff. It's actually real stuff. You got to do it. You got to do the hard work, and you're going to arrive. This is pretty much what I'm all about.
No question asked. You have credibility and authority in the field you are, and yet you're on social media present daily. And tell us, how do you see the businesses applying the social media into their environment? What do you think was the downfalls, was the good things, using the social media?
Look, this is a fantastic question, and for businesses to be using social media to grow, this is super important. But to be honest, here in Australia, for our people that are watching from Australia, the Australian market has always been a little bit behind in terms of adopting things that has already happened overseas. So let's talk about, you mentioned TikTok, all right? So mentioning TikTok, the Australian market has been very reluctant to use TikTok for their business growth for quite some time. And they were between the yay, nay, use it or not use it, security breaches, etc., until our Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, said, we don't have any problems with it, and we're not getting rid of TikTok like some other countries are debating, such as India. And that's when the people started to think, yeah, maybe. But it was already delayed I wouldn't say late, but I would say delayed, because TikTok gives businesses organic reach and gives the people the idea of how the business actually run in a fun way. So if you are doing products, if you're doing manufacturing, you can take the camera there using TikTok with a lot of amazing effects that is very easy to use, and you can start showing off your business, and the people get to know, oh my God, I didn't know that this shop was just around the corner from my house. Because TikTok, this is not something that a lot of people know. TikTok works on geometrics a lot. So you'll see people that are in your area according to your GPS, your location, coming through on your For You page. And this is something that not many people are aware of. I have noticed this happening with quite several accounts. So if I'm here and I'm TikToking from here in this area at Balcombe Hills at the radio station, I will start seeing other creators that are around the area. And yes, I do also see some people coming from another country that their videos are viral. But for those videos that are just starting, so it's kind of local SEO optimized in the algorithm from my experience already.
Do you know who's very quiet today? Darren, he's soaking. No, just want to say, like, you're quiet because you're soaking now. Did you know this about TikTok? Because
I
I believe TikTok.
Yeah. I haven't ventured into TikTok. I've taken time to, just holding back because not really knowing what it's about. But I do have a question for you, Joe.
Yep, absolutely.
How does a business break through to social media when social media is all about social?
Well, this is the thing, and social media, it's called social media, and a lot of people are not getting that mindset. Okay, it is social, and I'm really, really fascinated by you raising that point, Darren, for one reason, that the people don't understand how the social media works. It's not about you. It's about being social. So I always say, imagine yourself going to a barbecue with a group of friends, and then what would you think the natural behavior, the good behavior will be? You'll obviously go out there, grab a plate, have a bit of a chat as they're barbecuing, whatever it is that they're barbecuing, get to know about them, they get to know about you, and so on and so forth. But what I'm seeing now in the social media, that businesses are not doing this. They're just out there posting something. They don't know how to post properly. They go and pay influencers or people that will post for them, to shout out for them, and they will waste so much money because they're not getting that social part. They're not interacting with their people. They go live, like I am live now on the radio, and I'm also live on my Facebook. Obviously, I'm not really talking to my Facebook group, but I'm kind of waving to them. It's part of engagement. If they're my audience are listening, I need to pay them that respect because it's about being social. When I go on my own lives on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, I actually talk to the people. I want to know about them before they get to know about me, or they probably know who I am. So being social, what are you actually demonstrating?
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question. So if a business or even myself, personal branding, those sorts of things, I want people to know about me. How do I do that rather than just waving at them like you say? But how do I take the opportunity of these platforms to actually cut through? And that's my real question here this afternoon. What is the cut through?
What is the cut through on social media for anybody to use it, whether it's personal branding or a business? So the answer for that question is, number one thing, and I'm all about practical tips. Number one thing on your videos, you have to delete the word I. That's number one.
What do you think, Mario?
Delete the word I from your vocabulary. That's number one. It's all about the you. I'm talking to you. See, if you're drifting, Darren, for instance, and I said, for example, you, Darren, I'm going to bring you back if you're drifting. Because you hear the word you, Darren, bam, you're back. You, Mario, back. That's number one thing I see, that the people jump on the video and they like, I. Very self-inflicted. Social media doesn't work like this. It works about the you. That's number one. And it's a very easy tip. Yet, not a lot of people master to use it all the time. I personally use it all the time. So I'm all about practicing what I preach.
Well, I'll remember that one. Hey, Mario.
Yeah. So number one thing is the word you. Number two is what you provide as a value. What we call USP, so unique selling point. Okay, I'm a baker, for instance. There's 4 or 5 bakery shops around my area. How do I stand out when they're all posting on social media? I was actually reading an article yesterday about Gary Vee, a very, very respected guy on social media, and he has been out there probably around the same time I jumped on YouTube, or maybe slightly before me. And he was saying that there's businesses that they go and get them and they pay him 350, etc. checks to come and present at their events to boost their social media. And he's saying that they could have got so many other people that are more focused on their niche that could add more value than spending and writing that much amount of money, that big massive check for him. He's actually saying this. So to break through, the second point is you need to know who to connect with. Number two, to connect with the right people. What does that really mean for you? It means that those people that are influencing the people and really educating them. What's influence? We need to understand that. I am not with the word influencers. I'm against that. Okay, but there's nothing called an influencer in my vocabulary. I know it exists out there and people use it as an analogy.
But as a business, you're saying you want to be able to say, hey, you, I've got the first point, you.
Yep.
I don't know. What do you say next? As the business, you got their attention. Hey, you. How do you then influence them? Not an influencer, but as a marketer.
Correct. So the other thing I talk about, and on my account on TikTok, I'm relatively new on TikTok. I have like 122,000 followers with almost about 1 million likes, right? So I'm currently new. But what I see on TikTok, and I just want to answer your question with a story, that influence, that impact. Okay, I see people coming to me, their accounts at 1 million, 500,000, they're bigger than my account. And they're coming to me, following me and DMing me in private, asking me questions and so on and so forth. So you would think if you're looking at the numbers, okay, well, they are much larger. Why are they talking to this guy? Because they see me as Mario said, the authority. Yes, I might have little following compared to them, but I'm the authority. How does that actually work? That works from the way you project your message. So when I project my message, I create a trend. There is no trend. I don't follow the trends of the dancing. I don't do dancing and any of that stuff on TikTok. But what I really do is I tell the people I started the trend of how to detect lies, which was not on TikTok. According to me, I've never seen it on TikTok. Now I see a lot of people talking about how to detect lies because I started that. So how do you create the influence? The summary of that story to really highlight the point is influence is all about education, and education gets the trust. So when you have someone that is educating, that is qualified, that constantly and consistently educating the people, that builds the trust. And that trust is the influence.
So back to the baker. How does the baker do that to have themselves stand out different from the four other bakers?
All right. So for the baker to demonstrate that, they have to build that trust. How do they build that trust? They need to educate the people. How do they educate the people? They tell them, okay, this bread is good because of that. The bad thing about it, it's like a complete 360 honest review of that piece of bread. For example, when they do that, they say, all right, if you are trying to lose weight, then this type of bread is not going to be suitable, but this type of bread will be because blah, 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 blah. So they're actually educating the people and tagging their pain points and finding solutions for them. Now, when you are doing this, you're not saying, here is my bread, it's $1, I have a special. Everybody's doing this. You're not standing out because everybody's doing the same. But when you are approaching it and saying, hey, if you are a health freak, this is the direction. If you are a kind of guy that is not observing, then this is the direction. If you want to indulge because Christmas is coming, this is the direction, and this is the why, and this is the how. You build the education and you build the influence. And this is exactly how it works.
Well, Dr. Joe, that was a very, very, very interesting conversation. We're going to continue after the break. You're listening to Live 90.5
break
Business Insights with break. Eh?
Okay, all right.
Can we have a break?
You're allowed.
Okay, that's it. You're listening to Live 90.5 Business Insights with Darin and Mario. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with more questions for Dr. Joe Isaak. Thank you for tuning in. We're glad you're with us.
It's 29 minutes to 1, Live 90.5 Business Insights with Mario and Darren.
Thank you, Darin, very much. What did you say? What time it is?
It's 29 minutes to 1.
29 minutes to 1. Okay, the next question. I think if we continue this pace with Dr. Joe Isaak with another 3 questions, we're going to end up this show. So, Dr. Joe Isaak, the question for you I do have, you're a psychologist and, you are engaging quite a lot of people on social media. May I ask you one of the questions? What most common question you receive from your from your fans, from the listeners, from the viewers, people who needs the help, what's the most common topic or, the word when someone needs the help? Is like I'm hungry, I'm fat, or I need to fall in love, or how it's gonna be like yourself? What is the most common topic people asking for help? What's the main reason?
I do get quite a few things because I talk about dating, I talk about relationships, I talk about breaking through personal challenges and mental blocks. But the general theme in 2019 that has been rising since throughout the whole 2020 has been more about recapturing their social skills, because we've become very distant due to COVID-19. So I see a lot of, it's not a particular question, but the theme is, okay, how can I develop that confidence again to go and socialize and approach people on the street, and just be friendly, or dating, or rectify things that I have realized that I have problems with, because the people got exposed to their relationship at a very, very intense rate. Before, people have relationships, but you work 9 to 5. Say there's 40 hours, you're out of your house.
But isn't it supposed to COVID make people together? Like they live together, they become together?
Some relationships, if you have so much contact, it creates so many problems.
What do you mean? Can you explain on that one?
Ooh.
Yeah, absolutely. So what really happens is, I'm gonna have to give a warning for an expression for our listeners and viewers, that I'm gonna use a term. It's just a metaphor. Don't take it physical. Okay. So I call this the nakedness.
Okay.
What is the nakedness? And I say, for a person to break through, the moment that they share their body with someone, when they get naked, they accept that they're going to share their body with someone, with their flaws, with their imperfections, and they are okay with this. This is exactly going to be the same when they accept that nakedness model overall. That I go to the radio here, for example, I know I'm not perfect, but I admire my imperfections.
Thank you for saying that. You're not perfect. That's correct. Yes.
That's right.
I am, and Darren. But that's okay. So that's
right. So the idea here is that I accept my imperfections. I accept that English is not my first language. There's other people that English is not their first language. They had to withdraw. They have to go away and try not to talk. And I have seen people here in this country that have been, as long as I have been here for 15 years, are doing this. While some other people, English is not their first language and they're battling. And they went above and beyond to break through that, like myself and other people. So the moment you adopt that model of nakedness, where you accept your imperfections, your flaws, whether it's your body, your personality, your accent, whatever it might be, this is the moment you get to see. So what COVID-19 has done, that nakedness was not fully exposed in any relationship. People that have been together. Why? Because they're 9 to 5, hypothetically, let's say, every day, Monday to Friday, they're out of the house. So the wife or the husband or either party didn't really get full nakedness exposure on their partner. They thought that they go to work and they frown like they're normally at home. Now they're seeing them working from home on the computer and on the cameras, and they're smiling and they're not frowning. So they started to think, who is this person? This is not what I thought.
That's very interesting, Darren, huh? Who is that person next to me? Like, interesting. Please continue.
Yes. So the idea here is they started to see another dimension to their partner that they haven't seen before, because you're stuck in the house on lockdown. You're not going anywhere. You're going to go to the shopping center to buy some groceries and come back, and you're probably going together. So before, there were, let's say, 40 hours minimum. You're not together, where every party can get to do whatever it is that they want. They get a chance to what we call ventilate. Sometimes high intense exposure creates a series of chemical reactions in the body, because one person and two people are not going to be the same. I want to eat now. You're not hungry now, but I don't want to eat by myself. So you're going to feel sorry for me. So you're going to kind of force yourself to eat with me. So there's a lot of things where there's compromising on both parties for things to roll. Now you're okay to do this less than the 40 hours that this person was at work.
Yes.
Now you find yourself that there's additional 40 hours where you have to compromise. There's no room for you to ventilate and breathe. And this is where it all happened. And this is why the divorce rate went up and problems start to happen. And this is all the questions coming from this end. People that are in relationships got to know what's going on. I didn't know this person. I thought that I knew this person. I've been with them for 10 years. Now that I see them, oh my God, they are flirting with their, people at work. Actually, this person is not flirting. This person just a nice person, just, a very smooth talker.
Yeah.
Right?
This statement, what you said right now about nakedness, I have the two questions. I was just thinking before I give to Darren. First question is, that statement you give about nakedness, we have a 40 hours extra somebody and actually creates the chemical reactions in our body, and we looking to ventilate. So like we ventilate obviously on a violent way, aggressive way, and the divorce, it's pending, of course. If you have the, I will say, how would you say, Darren? I mean, not domestic ones, but you have these frictions in between the spouses. Does that mean that we actually don't know the person who are we in relationship with? That's a question number one. And the question number two, it is, is that mean that we become more social now, distant from our neighbors, our families and everything else, something which is not normal? Or you say this as a professional, this is normal thing that we be separate from somebody for months, for weeks and everything else we didn't have? Because one one extreme, it's like somebody who you're living with, you are becoming close in the house, and somebody who you don't see every day, becoming more distant. So it's two different extremes. So how do you see this one? Do we know the person who we're living with if we are stuck 40 hours extra per week?
Look, in my country, there's an Egyptian saying. In this Egyptian saying, the translation of it is, it's like almost a conversation happening between two people. This is how majority of the traditional sayings we have in Egypt. But what it really means is, do you know someone? And they say, yep, I know them. Like, let's say, do you know Darren? And you say, yep, I know Darren. So then the next question I ask you, have you lived with Darren? And then you say, no, I haven't lived with Darren. So the Egyptian saying continues like, then you don't know who that person. So it's actually a metaphor deep, that you don't know the person until you live with them. From that concept,
that's interesting.
From that concept, you don't know them really, right? Like part of them. You know that Darren is the wizard, but you don't know how Darren is at home. Is he super organized? Is he a neat freak? You don't know these things because you're not exposed to them, right? Only his partner will know these things. So when I tell you, do you know Darren? And you say yes, you're not technically answering correctly here because you don't. So the idea here is that you knew your partner, to answer your question, you knew your partner that you thought, well, to a level. Now you're on another level because there's an additional 40 hours. You are in front of your partner 24 hours, 7 days a week. That's another level that you weren't exposed to before. So from that angle, no, you didn't know your partner.
Okay.
Right? So whether it's 5 years or 10 years.
Would you suggest people take the honeymoon before the wedding to know each other, like for the 1 month they live together?
Even 1 month is not enough.
What do you mean it's not enough?
It's not enough because, see, Mario, I know that for our listeners and the viewers, everybody sees their world from their own view. And I always say that there's not just one world, but there is one world for you. Everyone has their own world, right? So there are some people out there that have the ability to put a mask on for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months to lure you in. So honeymoon, I want to present myself to be the best man in the world to my partner. So yeah, drop that mask on and I appear to be the perfection walking on the planet. But then a few months later, that mask will fall or dissolve. And that's when my partner really gets to know me. So you need that length of time. Some people have the ability to hold the mask for a few months. I don't want to go and talk about intelligence and we talk about spying. We have an Egyptian spy that lived all his life in Israel until he died, and nobody ever knew he was a spy. So we're talking about 20 plus years putting the mask on with no mistake. Because the moment he would have made a mistake, they would have found out.
Yeah. Hold that breath, Dr. Joe Isaak. Darren, I know you're a perfectionist. I know you are, you have everything in order, OCD like myself, because I can see myself in you many times.
I'm a recovering perfectionist.
Recovering perfectionist.
That's right.
It's like a double A meetings, but perfectionist anonymous, right? Is that what it is?
Exactly.
You're going to run that meeting. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we take a short break. Our guest in studio is world-renowned psychologist, Dr. Joe Isaak, and we're going to continue after the break. And this conversation is going to be heated even more after the break. Thank you for listening. Alarm 90.5 Business Insights with Darren and Mario.
It's 13 minutes to 1, alive 90.5 Business Insights with Murray and Darren.
And time is flying, Darren. Darren, it's flying. So, but this weekend it's going to be a beautiful weekend. I wish everybody happy Friday 13th. Fortunately, Darren, we don't have the music for today to be a little bit spooky. But what we do have, it's a world-renowned authority, credibility, psychologist, Dr. Joe Isaak, with us in the studio. Dr. Joe, we spoke about why people during the COVID who's been locked down for 23 hours, as I was saying, in Melbourne, which obviously has been because Victoria was being driven by science, obviously. That's what they were telling us every day. So obviously the science was being done as well, that 23 hours is a good to people spend together in a home, which is not true. You said there is a mask there with everybody of us. We try to seduce somebody, we have that mask for 1 month and, 40 hours extra per week, which instead of being at work and vent ourselves, we spend with our spouses, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever it is, and then actually we're seeing that we don't know that person. Now, during the COVID, something else was being very, very trendy, social media. So I have a question for you. Would strong presence on social media challenge someone's relationship? And obviously, spending time on a social media creates something called the lies. And why the people lying each other in relationship. So the first one, would strong presence on social media challenge someone's relationship, and the lies?
This is a very, very tricky question. I can't answer the question and say this is a set answer. So first, there are a couple of variables that I need to go through. If I say, would strong presence on social media challenge someone's relationship if the relationship is not built on trust and both parties or the other partner that is not on social media is confident in themselves and their confidence are not shaky, then absolutely there will be no impact of being on social media and have a strong presence. There will be no impact. But on the other hand, if you have very strong presence on social media and your relationship is shaky and the other party, the other partner are not confident in themselves, are not secured enough, then the answer is ultimate yes. Because you will get compliments, you will get people trying to say very nice things about you, and then the jealousy will kick in, and then all those insecurities will rise up to the surface. Oh my God, you're responding to those people and you're giving them hearts and you're giving them thumbs up. But when I talk to you, you're like, I'm busy. These are real examples you're going to hear. But if the relationship is strong, there's trust and there's security on their party, on the other party, then having strong presence on social media or being even a YouTuber, it wouldn't really make a difference.
So the story is that, and maybe you read this, many times. Like I know that one of my businesses, cheating partners, we do have infidelity investigations, and I will say 90% of the clients coming to us, they blame the social media, and I said, like, I know it's social media, but it must be something more beyond, because you never know that social media how it's going to venture for somebody, and things always look better in a window, in a shopping window shopping.
Yeah, window shopping. And I think if someone has an intent, then social media is just the tool. So they may not know they have the intent, but social media is just a tool that enables them to do something that they may be doing anyhow. So it's back to Joe's point. If the relationship's not strong, then there's probably intent to do something a bit different because the relationship isn't strong. So that's probably
right. So it's internally rather than just blame social media. It's internally problems already cracking. So the cracks in before, and the people start lying. Why do people lie? Yeah.
Well, I was just to follow up.
Please.
Now it's social media. Before it would have been phone calls. Okay, just go away with the long phone cable that like in a room, and you wouldn't know who they're talking to. So the tools are different.
May I ask you something? This is related to this conversation, but it's a music question. You know the song Pina Colada?
Yeah.
Okay, my midget told me, my son, he said, Dad, do you know how this song started? I said, I have no idea. The guy wrote an article, something to meet somebody, right? He was married. And that's how the song started. Did you know that?
No.
No, it is. It's true. Like it was Pina Colada. It's a Pina Colada.
Okay, yeah.
So entire wording, he put it into the news article, 40, 50 years ago, people met with the newspapers.
So music is a tool as well.
Yes,
Everything
music is a tool,
tools
so-
if there's problems.
Yeah, so that is nice. So yes, please continue.
Music is a tool, as you described, Darren. And another thing is poetry.
Poetry.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay.
I know a couple of poets. They write amazing poetry, and the people are just attracted to the words, because again, we're talking back to our nakedness model, being naked. Okay, when you are writing this amazing poetry, and when I saw you, this is what happened to my heart, and blah blah blah. A very strong romance. It's tapping into the feelings of the people, right deep. So you don't see how this person lives. You don't see whether they're clean or not. You don't know the person. Remember, back to our rule, you don't actually know the person. So you start, oh my God, this is the person that I've always dreamt of. But you don't really know who that person is. So what was the question, Mario? I forgot.
So we spoke about the social media, how influencing relationships
Yes.
now. So obviously the partners start, they start having cracks before the social media being enrolled.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Social media just a tool,
Yep.
to exploring some other horizons. Husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, doesn't matter.
Yep.
And then the lies start occurring. Lying, it's a quite generous definition of deception and deceiving somebody. However, we don't lie just in relationship. We're lying in life, in a business.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, why the people lying, and how do we can discover somebody's lying? Because I saw on your TikTok, I didn't show the Darren because the Darren, I keep him secret from your TikTok. You said on TikTok very easily, very, very so nicely, about lying and how to catch somebody lying in 3 steps. So if you can elaborate a little bit more, why the people lying, not just in a relationship, but in generally in a life. You as a psychologist, you see this quite often. You catch people, and how we can discover someone's lying.
Look, there's first of all, you need to understand the type of lying. Okay, there's 2 general streams of lying. The first type is the complex liar, pathological, compulsive, pseudologia fantastica, mythomania. These are all the names for the same thing.
Okay.
And that's the most difficult one to diagnose, because you can't diagnose this one by actually meeting the person. You have to diagnose this person by knowing the surroundings and talk to the people around them, because this person lies for no reason. Lies.
Sorry, is it that, Darren, did you hear that somebody's lying for no reason?
Yes.
Did you ever met somebody lying for no reason?
Oh, yes.
And you
Honestly,
wouldn't know most of the time.
I can't say that I met anybody lying with no reason. No, somebody lies to me because I know the fact, but for no reason.
Well, someone could lie. Oh, sorry, I might.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Don't want to steal any thunder, but I'm thinking what's happened to me. Someone would lie, and then you think, well, they're kind of. I look up to them, or what can I say? Oh yes, I agree with you. And then I'll turn around and say, oh, that's silly because that's not right.
Oh,
And so it's a little trap. A little trap.
Look, it's really, even if you have met them, Mario, it will be very difficult for you to diagnose, because you don't know their motives. You really need to tap into their world outside of that person to actually find out whether they're compulsive or not, or pathological. It's very difficult, but it's doable. The other type, the most type that we can work out, is the simple type, which is they lie with a motive. So this is easy.
To cover something to...
Correct.
Yeah.
So she'll ask, the partner will ask, do you love me? Yeah, I love you. Whether you love them or not is a different scenario.
Isn't that what the people calling these white lies? Is that exist actually, white lies?
I get asked
acceptable?
that question.
Yeah.
Look, I don't want the people to see me that I'm promoting lies whatsoever. So I'm gonna stand my point and say lies is a no-go zone. White, gray, pink, blue, I don't care. This is where I stand. However, I do also understand that sometimes people lie because they're sensitive about someone's feelings. I respect that, but I wouldn't respect lying regardless. So, in other words, okay, this is something I see popular. I respect, but I wouldn't respect the lying. So someone is struggling and they have pain, and they know that their partner really worries about them. And because she or he worries about them, if they have some pain, they lie. Do you have any pain? No, I'm fine. Why they're lying? Because they don't want to put burden on their partner.
Dr. Joe, we need to take a break, but before that, Darren, would you call the lying when, when you ask somebody, let's just say you ask me, Mario, can come on Sunday, help me moving the furniture, and I say like, yeah, I think I can, let me come back to you tomorrow. Did happen to you ever? You know he'll not come, I'll not come on Sunday to help you with the furniture. It's actually become the lie straight away, but we are prolonging that thing, converting to something else, even we know it's going to be different outcome. Interesting.
Yes. Interesting thoughts.
This is popular in us.
Popular. You're listening to Line 90.5 Business Insights with Darren and Mari. We'll take a short break with Dr. Joe Isaak, news and the weather. And thank you for listening, guys. Who are generously sponsoring this radio station. Without you, this station would not be as it is. I'd like to ask you Darren a question. You know that Concise Finance, this was your voice on advertising?
No.
No?
I'm on the weather though.
Okay.
And the school zone.
And the school zone. Okay,
Yeah.
I was just like, I tried to pick it up. It's like, it sounds like a Darren name.
No, I haven't broken to that market yet.
Yeah, but everybody who is looking to rent a voice, please contact Darren Cape Davis.
Rent a voice.
You're gonna have the best advertising ever. Now let's go back to our guest in studio, Dr. Joe Isaak. We spoke about lies, and before we took the break, because it was the news, as you know, 1 o'clock. I know you don't advocating lies, but how we can catch the liar? How does somebody can catch the liar? So, like, generally speaking, broad, not just in relationship, but in business and everything else.
So to go back to the track, so we've identified a couple of types. Okay, we spoke about the pathological, the one that lies with no reason, is very hard to detect, and the simple one, which is the lie with a motive. So whether it's white, pink, blue, whatever it is, there is some kind of motive, whether they're afraid of something or they want not to hurt someone's feeling. So this is the second type. Now, for you to actually detect when people lying, I can give you very quick guide. However, I don't want the people to take this for granted, because this is a very difficult thing to read someone. So we go back and make a reference point to what we discussed before. Do you know that person? Have you lived with them, etc.? So you basically, the general rule here that is accurate, that you need to know the behavior of the person when they're telling the truth, and look for deviations when you ask them questions and whatever it is, so you can identify, yep, there is a deviation here from their behavior, they're lying. This is the general rule. For you to get a very good print of who this person is, you need to understand how their brain works. So for example, there are types of people, different type of brain format. Some people have more visual of a brain. Some people have more auditory, they're very good listeners. Some people are more kinesthetic. There's different types of how the brain performs. So we call this the VAC. There's another one called the PART. Pragmatist, activist, reflector, and theorist. They have certain behaviors. Once you understand how their brain work, then you understand the associated eye movements and body language. Obviously, there are other things that people often talk about, but I don't want to really promote them because they are very unreliable. They tell you if someone is touching their nose or whatever it is, they're lying. I have an itchy nose. If they tell you like someone is blinking a lot, that they're lying. That's not true as well, because I have dry eyes, for example. So those things in association, yes, they can indicate lying, but you first need to know the person first. So for example, for the visual, they have certain behaviors. They're attracted to color. They normally use words like, oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, nah. Like this is kind of parameters. So for their eyes, when they think about the future, they look up and to the right. So if the conversation is about, where should we go for holiday 21, they will look in that direction. If it's something about the past, they will look up and to the left. If they are synthesizing or trying to articulate whatever it is that you're saying, they convert it into visual imagery. That's when they sort of gaze and look. So with the eyes, with the tone, if you know the tone, how they are normally, like I'm talking with particular tone. And then they go, what do you mean? Or what do you mean? These can be quite significant. So you got to add the tonality. You got to add the eye movements. Then you got to add what we call microfacial expressions. There are several muscles in the face that will indicate lying if you know the parameter of the person, such as if I go like this, a little bit of a squint. I'm trying to make it a little bit obvious. It's called microfacial expressions for a reason. When we look at investigations, we need to really zoom in 4K to really see the cells over here on this particular square, because this is where the muscles are. And we read the pattern that, what's your name? My name is Joe Isaak. We get a print. Because you know for a fact that that's my name. So therefore I'm not lying here. So you need to get an indication of the truth. Okay, how old are you, etc. You ask several questions. So you get what's the point here that we're trying to do is we're trying to get a point of reference and a print of the truth. Later on, when we dive to the other questions, then we look for changes.
Can I ask you that one question? This is just pop out of my...
I'm just going to scratch my nose. I'm lying, huh?
Yeah, and you say something very important, that people have a perception that they're experts in body language and psychology. A lot of the people around, even myself, I would say sometimes, I don't know, like Darren Hall's like now, I know he's tired. I bet he's tired. But the question that I do have, isn't there fear that people who are leaning towards criminal activity and they're going to be questioned by police or interrogated, they can learn the psychology, and lie. Let's just say lie detector. I know lie detector is not facial, but it's not correct to facial. Maybe.
Of course.
Yeah, can you can you learn the techniques and
of course, and those people, I'm not talking to intelligence agencies here. I'm talking to the public, right? Intelligence agencies have that type of training, which I personally ran to several intelligence agencies here in Australia and overseas. I trained them myself.
Can you share what do you train people in?
I can't discuss the details.
No, this one. What do you train people? What do you train the individuals and businesses?
How to interrogate.
Okay.
So basically, what kind of questions to ask the people that you're going to be having, as subjects or person of interest. So whatever name you want to call it for that person. The idea here is they're going to be aware. And they're going to try to master camouflaging and masking those things so you don't read into them. So the knowledge is there, science is there, everybody knows it, especially those people that are working in that. So your point and what I trained them on, obviously I trained them on all these things so they know them, but also on how to break these people down. And part of that breaking down is just to get them to lose control. Sometimes you need to tap into their emotions, get them to be angry, upset, or sad. Once the emotional part jumps in, the reptilian brain kicks in, then you actually shake that person off balance, and that's when you see the real reaction, because these people are not going to cooperate.
Talking about lying, I have a question. Now, say if I have a message to give to someone, and I'm going to tell them the truth, but I know that they're not going to like the truth, I may exhibit those similar sort of micro reactions and all those sorts of things as if I'm lying. So what happens in that case? Is there something different known? Do you scientifically know that in that case someone does act differently? You can measure the difference?
Well, as I said, this is what I try to tell the people. If you want someone to teach you that, you need to come and train for a while, because this is not body language, lie detection, investigation, all that stuff. It's not a matter of reading a couple of books and here you are. Fantastic, you're an expert. It doesn't work like this. How are you going to do this if you don't know the person? You need to put the person under surveillance. You need to know their behaviors, etc. Now, I didn't really get exactly your question, Darren. Like, you want to tell the truth, but you know that they're not going to accept it, so you're going to try to basically make it a white lie. Maybe. I have fear about them receiving the message I'm going to give. I want to tell the truth, but I don't feel comfortable telling the truth. Yeah. So if that's the case, you will exhibit the lying behaviors, which will be identical with any type of lying you will do if, excuse me, I know you're not lying or anything. I'm just saying for that scenario.
No.
For that scenario only, the lying behavior is an actual behavior. So when you lie in situation one, white, pink, blue, gray lie, and a black lie, your behaviors will be consistent.
Yeah, I suppose the difference was if you actually do then not lie, but because of that or fear and whatever, you may exhibit those behaviors and someone may actually think that you're not telling the truth.
No, you mean like when you're nervous?
Yeah, it could be you're nervous, those sorts of things, yeah.
If the person is nervous, It's going to show nerves. It's not going to show lying behaviors.
So
There's
that was
differences.
basically the premise of my question. Is there a
Interesting, yeah.
difference?
Yeah.
There is a difference.
okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
there is a difference.
I do have a question before we take the break. Just shortly about this, then we take the break. What is your most sell program to the clients? What's your most favorite program you offering to everybody?
I can't tell you which one is my favorite program because I love all of them. And my thing, Mario, if I don't love
what's
it,
your most powerful
if I
program?
don't love it, I don't do it.
What's the most powerful?
The most high selling is our public speaking
Public speaking.
program and body language.
So
So
how do psychologists help somebody to do public speaking?
presentations, confidence. Look, confidence is, when you hear that word, I've got too many fingers in one pie. Confidence is the ultimate of everything. If you are growing your confidence, you will present better. You will communicate openly and better with your partner. You will be able to counter and confront situations in business, in the business world, because you are confident. So I teach them how to present themselves. And I also teach them how to connect with the camera so well that the camera becomes part of them. How to use their body language. There's the tone is 38%. 55% is the body language and 7% is just the words. Who cares about
Can
the
you
words?
repeat again? What's the public speaking consists of?
So the public speaking, I train them how to break through to become confident. You see, you can pull me now on the radio. When I was in several events, they just call me the last minute, Joe, I've had an issue. Can you please come in? And you've probably seen me experience that myself. I'm always ready. Why? Because I have that confidence now. So I teach the people the same thing. How to be always ready, how to be confident to present yourself, how to amplify your voice tone and use your voice to have an impact.
55%.
38 for the
38?
voice, yes.
55.
55 is the body language.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
So
Did you know that?
the 7% is just the words. I don't know if you've ever encountered this. I do encounter this sometimes on social media where I see someone's video with no voice and no words. I'm just looking at them for like a few seconds and I'm predicting what they're saying. Because their body language will scream. If they're using that 55% of their body language, you can see if you're not hearing what I'm saying, like the 7%, by just seeing that my body language that I'm exhibiting now, you can feel I'm talking about something really powerful, even though you have no idea what I'm saying.
See, Darren and I have not that luxury to hide behind the body language, to hide behind the voice and 7% imagination. We must be 100% voice.
Well, you can always hear if you're smiling on radio.
Yeah, that is very true.
That's pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's always. Well, we'll take a short break. Dr. Joe Isaak, thank you for sharing this with us. And
Pleasure.
we come back with your most powerful program after our break.
Thank
I'd like
you.
to say thank you to all our listeners on the live 90.5 Business Insights with Mario and Darren. Thanks to Darren. Please visit to their website live905.com.au and you can hear the podcast of this interview with Dr. Joe Isaak. We'll be back shortly.
It's 24 minutes past 1, live 90.5 Business Insights with Mario and Darren.
Thank you, Darren, very much. And guest in studio, Dr. Joe Isaak, with us. We continue conversation with him, and feel free to come today on our website, live905.com.au. Thanks to Darren Gabbs Davis. This radio station has a great podcast, and it's going to be available with all these awesome questions and answers being answered by our guest in studio, Dr. Joe Isaak. Joe, there's so many questions we can ask, and certainly you helping a lot of people, but you previously answered that your most powerful program is about public speaking, about confidence. Now, in COVID, we had a lot of online blah. Everybody was an expert. Blah, coaching something, blah in this.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of videos there, and I'm pretty sure I can say with confidence because I can recognize many statements being given by the people on the video. They've been taken from somewhere else to just be reshaped, reformulated, reimagined, whatever you want to call, and they put it in
Reinvented.
context now. Public speaker, it's not simple.
Yeah.
It takes more than confidence, and preparation and many other things. And you doing this very well, obviously, to your clients. Now, we during COVID use social media extensively, and I'm pretty sure we're still doing now.
Yeah.
My next question would be, why? Sorry, why people don't react as much on certain platforms versus others? I know, let's say my forte is Instagram, and I'm not good in YouTube. I'm not good. I know Darren has no problem because he knows the technology. You know as well. Let's say English and being well accepted by the camera. You're looking good on camera. But why people don't react as much on certain platforms versus others? Facebook versus Instagram, TikTok versus Snapchat, or whatever you call it.
There's a general theme called "I don't care."
Sorry, is that your answer to me, or?
No. This is the audience.
I'll care for you like
Yeah,
I know you
haven't let me finish yet. That's why. So just
because I've already stand up, it's like when you're talking to me.
This is the "I don't care" is a Gen Z, very trending behavior where they're not inspired to make a comment. If you're gonna make a comment, it will take you, let's say, a short comment. Thank you. It will take you 2 seconds to write it, to interact. So for that, they ask themselves, why shall I do that? I don't care, right? That's one. Number two, this is the comment, because being interactive, as you said, will have 2 or 3 things, Mario. 1 is making a comment, 2 is liking the video, and 3 is sharing it. Otherwise, this is how you interact. There's nothing else on a video that you can see. Make a comment, like, and share. All right. So for the comment, we've explained I don't care attitude and being not super energetic about doing things in general. Okay, that's one. And Gen Z are on social media a lot. And they form over 40% of active users. Now, we are not Gen Z, but we're there. But are we really active? Gen Z is daily on there and for an extended period of time. Other people like us, like I post, I check, like I was telling you now, as before we went on air, like my team has just posted this video and I showed you the video, right? So I might not be as active as them. Okay, somebody else, they might check Facebook every couple of days. So that's 1. 2 is for the liking. And the liking, I have been venturing through, because this question that you asked me is like you're dropping your ears. I was actually talking to some people about this, and I'm trying to identify the behaviors and the motives behind it. And I'm finding things like, from yesterday, I was talking to this lady, and this lady said that she can't really interact on TikTok because her boyfriend sees it and he doesn't like it. So she can only watch. That's something I never thought of. Another thing, this is real. This is real person from another country. Another thing is other people that they don't like, which is under the umbrella of interaction, is because they are concerned. They have the peer pressure, colleagues pressure, friends pressure. Okay, I'm liking this content. What are you doing? Like, I don't like this song, or I don't like this creator, etc. So you're deviating from the pack now because you're liking their stuff. They want to stay kind of ghost. And this is another reason why people don't interact in general. I didn't tap into which platform. Now, if I go into which platform, whether Facebook, etc., they all work differently. LinkedIn works differently than Facebook, than TikTok, than YouTube. Some platforms, they all have the same thing, that watch time is a very, very strong quality indicator when people are watching, when people are engaging. Okay, but how do they work in terms of interaction is different. On LinkedIn, if you like someone's stuff, it goes on your activity. If someone is looking you up, they might come across it. So it's built on the network pyramid model. That's not the same case. That's not the same case for Facebook. For Instagram, if you are liking someone posts, you start seeing the people that they're following. So why the people are not interacting? Because they want to stay ghosts. They don't want to get any associations with those people. They just want to enjoy from distance, which I think is very unethical, in my view.
Why unethical? Why would it be unethical that day?
It is unethical because if someone gave you an advice on the street, the very basic line of manner, you'll be saying thank you. By watching this video and not sharing it and not liking it and not saying thank you, you are ungrateful.
May I ask you on that topic? I heard that so many times, and there's so many definitions we can hear it. Organic general, liking, whatever you want to call this. But is it the true that people actually, depending on the liking, it's something like they call the dopamine, endorphin, whatever it's releasing when they sing, everybody likes the photos. Is it this reality, or it's a perception we try to build for ourselves? We are very likable by somebody else, particularly strangers. It does cause a happiness when somebody likes us.
It will depending on the person, but scientifically, yes, it will release chemical reactions. Because the social media in general is designed to keep you engaged. And this is why the watch time is number one. Actually get you hyped up and always like supercharged. And that's why the beginning of any video, it has to be capturing. If it's not capturing the audience, they will drift. Right? So it's designed like this. But to add an extra layer on this, I used to be like this and I used to get the hype, and people liking me when I started on YouTube back in 2005. After a while, it's like confidence. Once you grow into the ultimate confidence, nothing really affects you anymore. So that some of the people that I was talking to, that I was mentioning off air, they come and he's like, we're affected. We think we're not good enough because our videos are not reaching that, etc., etc. And they have bigger accounts than me. So how are they coming and telling me that? Because I have the shield. Right now, if people have the likes, the dislikes, the compliments, and the vice versa, it doesn't affect me psychologically inside. I know who I am. I'm not waiting for 1 or 2 or 5 people to tell me who I am. I know who I am. I know what my qualifications are. I know how many people I have changed.
Funny thing is that you remember beginning of the COVID, some people, there was a couple articles, some influencers so called on Instagram, that their accounts been deleted, and there was a couple of women, in the US, they lost, they almost died because their accounts was deleted. Like it's just, they're doing the stupid things, because I try to understand why the engagement with social media, you're saying one thing, it's good for the business, and you need to know how to engage the people. And
correct.
And of course, that depends on the audience.
But also, you don't know if their accounts were deleted for real. That's a trick.
What do you try to say?
What I'm trying to say is that a lot of people out there that are not telling the truth on social media. They tag into people's emotions because they try to trigger their anger, their sympathy, to get them to react.
Well, Darren, we're doing something wrong. We need to make people angry. Well, we'll take a short break. It's 1:32 p.m. on a Friday, 13th November, and our guest in studio, Dr. Joe Isaak. And as I mentioned, always during this show, website alive905.com.au, today after 6 or 7 p.m. Thanks to Darren Kevis Davis, which voice you can rent it. Did you know this? You can rent it for your next commercial. Come and visit the website. The podcast of this interview is going to be available to all of you. We'll take a short break. Dr. Joe Isaak in studio with us. Well, thank you to all listeners to Live 90.5 Business Insights with Mario and Darren. We are truly privileged to have today truly somebody with the credibility, authority in psychology, Dr. Joe Isaak. And you can meet a lot of psychologists in your life. Someone's going to help you with your relationship, somebody with the business. But Dr. Joe Isaak is specialist in relationship between the humans. Somehow, I got tried to discover this yet, so that's what it is. But Dr. Joe Isaak, we don't have much time. 20 minutes before we wind up this episode, and as I mentioned, always conversation with you, it is truly brilliant. And there's not the stone unturned, and yet there's more questions coming, and we want to more know. What's the difference between training and presenting?
Very good question. Training, in the simplest form, I want to keep it short and sharp, is you imparting the skill on someone. Means by the end, when they leave, they can do it exactly to the standard that you want them to do it, or they want to achieve it, unassisted by themselves. 100%. Get the technique right. Presenting is you shooting the message and hoping they understood the message and got the message the way you intend to send it as a sender.
Oh, okay.
But you don't know. What can really help, to put it into an example, okay, you can talk about how to pull AK-47 into pieces. That's presenting. Then you give someone, stop here, give them the AK-47 and say, all right, now you've heard me, do it. They will completely go sideways. Training is you tell them about it, you present, you demonstrate, then you give them the AK-47 and say, all right, now I want you to break it into pieces. No, remember in this part I told you to twist your arm 180 degrees, not 90, and you actually give them that instant feedback until they master it so they can pull it into pieces exactly in the time frame that you want them to pull it into pieces in. That's what training is. That's what presenting is. Completely different.
That's what you see, but this is what I don't understand. Why the Darren and I, why anybody will book your program when you do everything for free on your videos on the social media?
Well, that's a very good question. But now, in that sequence that you asked me this question, we've already answered it. Because on social media, I'm talking about it, right? I'm presenting. They don't necessarily have the skill to do it. When they actually do the program with me, then they're going to leave with the skills that they can do it. So we can talk about confidence all day long, but does that mean that you're going to become more confident? No. The only way you become more confident is through the training, being with me when I'm your coach and I'm standing right next to you and telling you, no, raise your voice more. No, put this chin up. So I want to talk to you quickly about the Mars model. This is my own model. Okay, Mars is not the planet. It's just an acronym for 4 words. Okay, so you've got I'm going to put here, I'm going to answer your question. I know that you asked me in that order now. I have to flip to put the Mars into 2 things. So on here, Mars is presenting. On here, Mars is training. Okay, presenting. M for mindset. A for attitude. R for resources. S for skill sets. That's the Mars. Again, mindset. A for attitude. R for resources. S for skill sets. Okay. In here, mindset, in the presenting, when I create that mindset, the positive mindset, yes, you can. And I'm going to tell you how. I'm going to help you with the rest. When I go into presenting, I'm going to switch from the M that was here. I'm going to make it management, not mindset. Management. Management, resources, attitude, resources, and skill sets. So what's the difference between the M here for Mars and the M here? One is mindset, motivate you, get you going, get you to believe in yourself. But M here is management. So the people say, you know, I know there's something wrong with my voice, but I don't know what to do. So I can tell them here, because management in training, face-to-face, instant feedback, I tell them, okay, raise your chin up a bit. See, when I'm trying to sit down, every time I go to the bathroom and come back, I have to like pull myself, because what I'm trying to do here is to make sure that my voice is projecting. Because if I go like this, you can feel the difference in my voice. I'm not really changing.
Is that more powerful when you
know, there's difference. Okay, if I go like this,
just a second.
I was just going to say, there's always a mic proximity effect. When if you get closer to the mic, the bass is amplified more because of the way mics work. But back to what you're saying, Joe. You're saying if you chin up, you're opening up your mouth, diaphragm up.
Correct.
It allows you to project your voice more.
Yes, and to create a particular effect. In some other times, I need to do this. So the management here, when they're training with me, I can actually tell them what to do to manage. Like I had this lady that came to me and she said that she's got issues with her relationship. And I was actually joining my program. In the program, I can give customized advice and train the people, because it's just me and you, right? It could be 20, 30 people. I have never had a program that is less than 30 people. That's the intimate ones. Majority of the other programs, they have thousands before COVID. But if we're doing like an elite group 20, 30, I can still give management techniques to each individual according to them. So she was saying that she couldn't stop talking, which was causing problems with her partner.
She couldn't stop talking.
Yes, she talks a lot. She's admitting to that, and she's like, "What can I do?" And I came up with
talking.
Yeah, well, if you are presenting the Mars, presenting, tell her stop talking. But what she's asking is how to do it. So what I did is I suggested for her, and I said, "Okay, let's go around lunchtime. We'll go to this shop. I want you to buy a couple of beads." Beads.
What do you mean beads? Why beads?
Beads, like the
beads. I thought you said beats, like a beat.
No, beads. Like I'm gonna something like this.
Yeah, beads.
But just 2. And I asked her to put those 2 beads under her tongue.
That's not a. That's a. That is
this. I would not
magic
suggest.
Here, like
I would not suggest for someone underage, because that will be hazardous. But what the beads did for her, which is not something I've ever done for anybody before. But I knew it was going to work because I understand how humans work, as you said. So when she put the beads under her tongue, it was a constant reminder, creating that discomfort to stop her from talking naturally. Because there's discomfort. When she's closing her mouth and resting her tongue, it will be more comfortable than actually moving her tongue and being cautious that she doesn't swallow them. So this is the difference between presenting and between training, that you can give people solutions that can maybe just customize for them. Once you create that habit, after a while, she said that she's no longer using the beads, and now she adjusts her amount of talking with her partner, and the relationship has straightened up.
What do you think, Darren? Huh? That's very interesting. That's very interesting concept. I mean, that so simple but yet effective.
Well, that's the difference.
Training can be like that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The physical part of it. Yeah.
The training is you're imparting the skills onto someone. It's not just talking about it. And then Mario is different, then Darren is different, then Joe is different, then Michael. We all have differences. When we are presenting, we're presenting to the masses. My videos on TikTok or YouTube, I have 1 million views from different countries. I try my best to get the message across. Can't guarantee it. What's your next question? I'm ready. I'm super pumped now.
Look at you. Look, Darren, he got a question while we had a break. And that is about relationship between a man and woman.
Yes.
So our listener asked the question, what women want in men? What women wants in men?
What does
you mentioned this in the TikTok, That
yes. Look,
similar
obviously,
question.
we have to be very, very cautious.
What women like in men? That's what the question is, very simply. I try to work out to be more professional, but he asked, obviously, that's a very simple question. Obviously, there's a more in the background, but what women's looking into men?
Look, I just want to make sure that the people understand that I'm answering those questions based on stereotype.
Okay.
So I can't speak.
Stereotype is good as a radio because there's no more details here.
It's a general,
absolutely,
thing.
It's general.
And what I would say, that a woman needs a man that is confident enough.
What type of man is not confident?
No, but I have to be careful, because confident enough is half of the message. I need to finish the next 2 words. Confident enough to express his weakness.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, not confident enough to talk in front of people and show that you are good. No, this is different type. I'm not talking about this. A woman loves a man that is confident enough to admit and express his weakness. That is also generous, not just with his money and time, but also affectionate. So giving a woman your time, you're giving her a bar of your life. And giving her that bar of your life, there is nothing more precious on this planet more than a human life, that you are simultaneously and with a big smile, ear to ear, baby, giving that life. The affection is that you're completely expressive of your emotions. There's some guys that love someone, but they hold back about how to express. No, being affectionate is expressing the emotion at every single opportunity. My dad, God have mercy upon his soul, whenever he saw my mom passing by and he's just like sitting, having a coffee or whatever it is, there was a touch somewhere on her shoulder, grab her hand and kiss her. Sometimes just a tap. It's just that constant affection. And then after this, there were hugs, there were kisses. All the time. I've grown up in that house, seeing love all the time.
I do have one more question on that base. They're asking for the Darren. Mm-hmm. He can't talk because he's so tired. Darren, he drove today 100 kilometers to Centennial Park for the police legacy of New South Wales. New South Wales police legacy. Did I say this correctly, Darren?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Thank you, Darren, for being such a kind man. So, what's the best gift anybody can give anybody? Is this his lingerie? Is it a bottle of wine? It's a car? What would for you be the definition of the best gift you can give anybody?
I have your questions are really in line with my YouTube channel, and I would suggest for people to watch that particular YouTube, where I think the name of this video is, you have to watch this before Valentine's to get the full story.
Okay.
There is on my videos, for those people who don't know who I am and they have met me for the first time, my videos are sort of a mixture between education and entertainment. So I call it edutainment. So yes, you might be watching a story, but completely not about just wasting your time. There's always a moral to that story. So if you ask me what's the best gift that you can give to someone.
Dr. Joe Isaak, it's not about you today. It's about them, our listeners.
That's
and
right.
I'm asking on behalf of our listeners.
Yes.
What is the best gift any man or any woman can give to anybody?
That's right. I'm answering that question exactly in that way when they see that video.
I'm still waiting for that answer.
Yes.
Please.
The answer is simple. A very simple way is when you create a gift, a gift that is not sold on the market.
Would you answer that question, please? We have not much time.
That's why I told you need to watch that YouTube. But basically, really what it is you have to craft a gift. This is the gift that actually takes in. So when I did that with my ex at the time, I made a complete Valentine's Day completely crafty. I wrote poetry. I designed, manufactured the largest Valentine's card in the world by Guinness Records. True, I've broken that record with my card. I've written poetry on it. I have given her a bottle of a very special wine, and I have created glasses with art. I have drawn on them. I've designed them. I've done a whole entire, it's all handmade just for her. So the best gift that you can give to anybody is something that you can make that is not out there. It cannot be replicated. And then I took her and I dressed the pergolas on Coogee Beach because she wanted that particular spot to see the sunset and have dinner at that time. And there was no location in the country that you can see that except this particular spot, which is a public space. And I brought in a chef to have the food ready exactly at the sunset. And this whole entire pergola thing, you know, the wooden things, kiosks on the beach, was all covered, all dressed up. And it just happened to be served 5 stars right there. She can go and meet so many people that may be more handsome, more rich, more intelligent, more successful, more, but she can never find someone that will be able to break what I have done. That's a record on many levels.
That story must be heard by many. So, Dr. Joe Isaak, thank you for being our guest today.
Pleasure.
And before we go, how do our listeners can come in touch with you?
Look, if they want to connect with me personally, they can search my name, Dr. Joe Isaak. If they wanted to enroll for those programs that we've mentioned, they can just contact the company I work for. And I believe the number is, let me grab it here, is 1300-1300-233-321. 1300-233-321 or Australian Effect Training. You can see particular program that they're interested in on the website, and that's how they can come. But in terms of connecting with me, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. And I'm pretty sure if they put a comment here or there, we'll connect somehow. But this is how they can contact the company for the programs. 1300-233-321. I've been trying to memorize this for years, but for some reason I never get it. I think it's called A Effect on the phone. 1300 A Effect. Yeah. A Effect, like Australian Effect.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Joe Isaak, for being our guest today.
Pleasure.
Hey, Darren, that was very interesting. Yeah, the biggest card for the Valentine's Day, the glasses and everything else.
Lovely.
Yeah, but where is she now? That's what we're going to discover next episode. Thank you to our listeners of the Line 90.5. Thank you to Dr. Joe Isaak, world-renowned psychologist, somebody who's going to put you there on a throne of success. Please contact him directly, Dr. Joe. Thank you for being our guest again.
Pleasure.
So what's happening with her? Ex?